1. The last broadcast, when Wizard, a dying AM radio station in Dead Lake, Michigan, decided to air one last show before going off the air. Nobody expected the signal to open a door, not just any door, but one that led straight into the void between realities. The host, Marvin Clay, had been with Wizard for 30 years. On the night of the broadcast, he sat in the sound booth with a thermos of coffee, a reel-to-reel deck humming beside him. He played dusty vinyl, read strange letters from listeners long dead, and told ghost stories submitted by townsfolk. But then came the phone calls. They started with static, then whispers, then screams. By midnight, Marvin's voice changed. Listeners reported hearing multiple voices speaking in unison from his mouth. The station's signal grew stronger, reaching places it had never touched. Even the dead listened. When the sun rose, the station was found abandoned. The booth was cold. The reel-to-reel tape had looped back and forth, replaying a phrase, "We are here. We are here. We are." To this day, if you tune your AM dial at 3:33 AM near Dead Lake, you might still hear Marvin, but he doesn't work alone anymore. 2. Whispers beneath the wallpaper. Cora inherited the Crimley house, a Victorian mansion in North Carolina. She came to renovate it, alone. The neighbors warned her of its history. Riona had vanished, except their shadows left behind, burned into the walls. Ignoring them, she stripped the house down room by room. One day, in the master bedroom, she peeled back layers of old wallpaper and found writing. Names, hundreds of them, written in blood. Beneath each name was a whisper only she could hear. The whispers grew louder at night. They spoke of fire, of betrayal, of a woman trapped behind the walls. In her dreams, Cora saw her, a pale figure with no eyes, clawing her way out of wallpaper seams. On the final night, Cora vanished. When the new owner moved in, they found fresh wallpaper. It was thick, veined like skin. On it, one new name, Cora. 3. Patient Zero's apartment. When real estate flipper Trevor Blaine bought apartment 3B at a fraction of its worth, he thought he'd hit gold. The former tenant, a woman known only as Patient Zero, of a mysterious outbreak that was quickly covered up. The apartment had been sealed for 10 years. Once inside, Trevor noticed everything was untouched: rotting food, open journals, and dozens of mirrors. Each mirror was covered with red cloth and had strange sigils scratched on the edges. He uncovered one. The reflection didn't match. In the mirror, Trevor saw something tall and faceless, staring back from behind him. But when he turned, no one was there. The journals described the entity, the one who infects, a being that passed not through touch or breath, but through sight. Trevor destroyed all mirrors, but it was too late. That night, every reflective surface in the city showed his face, but his mouth moved on its own, and it whispered to others. 4. The Marionette's funeral. Elliot Griggs, a famous puppeteer, died mysteriously. At his funeral, they buried him with his prized marionette, Bellamy, a hand-carved boy with glass eyes and a mouth sewn shut. 2 weeks later, mourners began dying in bizarre accidents, each found with string burns around their wrists and ankles. One survivor, a child named Liza, claimed she saw Bellamy walking at night. "He dances," she said. "He makes them dance too." The grave was exhumed. Elliot's coffin was empty. Bellamy's strings were missing. No one knows where he is now. But at 3 a.m., some swear they hear wooden feet tapping on rooftops, dancing. 5. The clockmaker's children. In the town of Hollowick, an old clock shop sat untouched since 1872. When historian Margot Thorne entered it for a documentary, she found dozens of life-sized automaton children. They all had clocks in their chests, ticking in sync. In the back room, journals by Elias Crane, the original owner. He wrote of his desire to replace real children, starting with his own. Margot laughed it off, until night fell. Then the ticking grew louder. The automata moved. One whispered in a gear-grinding voice, "Mother." Margot ran but outside. The world was frozen in place. No wind, no sound, only ticking. She never left the shop. Now, there's one more automaton inside, and its clock ticks louder than the rest. 6. Room 6 at the Hollow Pines Motel. The Hollow Pines Motel is off a highway, no one remembers building. Only room 6 is ever available. Travelers report strange dreams there, being buried alive, drowning in blood, watching themselves sleep. Some wake up with dirt under their fingernails, or with eyes not their own. One guest, Amanda Steele, documented her stay online. She live-streamed it. At 3:06 a.m., the screen went black, then static. Then her face appeared smiling too wide, eyes too dark. The live stream ended. When police arrived, the room was spotless. Amanda was never found, but the TV was on, showing a live stream from inside room 6, with no camera in sight. 7. Harvest Moon, Blood Soil. Every 33 years, on the Harvest Moon, the town of Arlenwood holds a secret ritual. Outsiders aren't invited, ever. When journalist Tusha Nguyen sneaked in with a drone, what she captured was worse than any folklore. Townspeople chanting in the fields, painting themselves in blood, offering something unseen, their own flesh. At the center, a scarecrow moved. It walked. It chose her. The drone feed cut off. The next morning, her car was found outside town, engine running. No trace of her, except her face, nailed to the scarecrow's head. 8. Echoes in the static when a thunderstorm knocked out power across Grenton County. Radio technician Elijah Mann stayed behind at the tower to monitor backup frequencies. That's when the voice came through. It was his voice. Only, it spoke of events Elijah hadn't lived yet: this death, the arrival of the static, and the sounds of everyone he ever knew screaming inside it. He tried to shut the system down, but it wouldn't stop. Outside, shadows flickered like TV snow. People began acting strange, faces blurred. In the final log he recorded, "We're already echoes. They just haven't told us yet." 9. The Man Who Ate Fear. A man known only as Crow performed underground shows in basements across the country. His act? Eating things others feared. One woman gave him a vial labeled drowning. He drank it, smiled. Another offered betrayal. He chewed it like glass, but when a boy gave him death, Crow hesitated. Then he swallowed it and vanished. From that night on, attendees reported nightmares so vivid they couldn't tell waking from sleeping. Some went mad, some disappeared. Crow was seen one last time, on a subway platform, eyes hollow, mouth open, still hungry. 10. She waits in the basement. When the LaRue family moved into their fixer-upper, their daughter Lily warned them about the woman in the basement. They thought it was imaginary, until they found claw marks under Lily's bed and muddy footprints on the ceiling. At night, Lily sang lullabies she'd never learned, songs about fire and teeth. One night, they heard Lily talking. She says she used to have a daughter too. She burned her up. They bolted the basement shut, but bolts don't stop her. Now, every family that lives there hears the same lullaby, and the whisper, "Let me in. I only want to love you."